Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 3 in the Special 3 series in Dota 2 Champions League. Kaipi taking on Monkey Business, or is it the other way around? Well, we've had both ways in the games before. Monkey Business coming out up with a strong start and a back of Miracle Razor in game 1. Kaipi turning it back around with B-Cell playing the carry. And that's a meme I
Oh
can get
God, not you
behind.
too.
I'm sorry. There's a meme still inside of me, Ted. I'm so
Oh
sorry.
boy. Well, after last game, you couldn't help but be a fan of Bisa, though. I will say, Bisa and Cancel both doing a fantastic job at picking up some of the carry there, as well as like everyone on their team. Seemed like we had some pretty decent synergy between everyone. Bone Seven, come with me, having a great round, as well as Buffney being on point, keeping his people alive and doing work throughout the fight. Monkey Business, though, they're going to go back for round 2 with the Darkseer. And of course, he is really good at getting them that early mechanism. Bisa is going to get his AM.
Oh yeah,
Oh boy.
anti-mage, of course, one of the better carries, of course, and one of the carries that you can do some plays with. Even as it feels like I mean, of course, there's a standard anti-mage that every carry player knows how to play,
Yes.
and then there's that extra level of anti-mage where you kind of riding on the edge, where you start joining team fights a little bit earlier as well, and then get out maybe on a sliver of health, but always get out on top and get something out of that without
Right.
actually giving up too much. So we'll see what kind of game we'll have from this anti-mage here. He does have some help from the Dazzle, of course, keeping him alive too, if necessary. But Monkey Business is gonna have a tall task ahead of them to try and counter that out.
It's funny how Anti-Mage plays, too. I mean, he's got one of the least versatile early game builds. I mean, everyone goes the same 3 items, right? The Battle Fury, the Vladimir's, the Manta. It's that almost every single time. But he's got one of the most versatile play styles, too. Whereas he can do so much with those 3 items. It's fantastic to watch a skilled player maneuver with this hero. And as you said, always getting something at the fights. And Monkey Business, I mean, there's a lot of potential to shut him down early, but there's also a lot of potential, especially with Darkseer, to end up with low mana pool without even realizing it, and then having, of course, the anti-mage come in and completely ruin your day.
Yeah, that mana void is something that all intelligence heroes have to watch out for. The mana pool is low, and yeah, it's not to be underestimated. I mean, level 1 mana voids, it's not really all that good. But once you hit level 2 and level 3 of that, that's actually a lot of damage coming out if you're missing a lot of mana. Even if you have a healthy mana pool, Anti-Mage blinking in on top of you, popping the Manta if he already has it, that mana is gonna be gone and you're gonna be a ticking time bomb for the rest of your team as well as yourself. But we'll see how Monkey Business can deal with that. In early laning matchup, Darkseer up against Anti-Mage. I guess Anti-Mage is one of the melee heroes that can deal with Darkseer better than anyone else, just because you can go aggressive with a mana burn and you do have a little bit of extra protection up against the Iron Shell just because you have the spell shield available to you. But it's still going to be annoying at the very least if he doesn't have some help inside the lane up against the Darkseer.
Right. And of course, we can't let this down. Bisa, anti-mage. I mean, every single time. Yeah, you can already look at the chat right now. It's just exploding with Bisa anti-mage. I mean, he's got a large fan base with this hero, so I'm looking to seeing just how well he can accumulate, some good advantage with that. And as you mentioned, you're going against Darkseer pretty well, but looking forward to seeing what these next couple of picks end up being for Monkey Business. The Jakiro, obviously, they ran it in the first game, and it did very well at helping them burst down towers. Of course, now with a mechanism on Darkseer that they're most sure to get out, this push for Monkey Business could end up being very good. Beastmaster got banned out by Kaipi, which means they're not going to have that aspect of it, but there are so many other heroes that you can go that run sort of in this same style that I could see a couple of other different lineups come out that could still work for them.
Yeah, that's one of the ways that you can deal with an anti-mage. Just take away his map as early as I can. Pick up heroes that can push, like a Jakiro to Liquid Fire, Darkseer augmenting that with early mechanism. Then you can, if you really want to go a little bit more all in, you can pick up a Pugna along with that to have the Nether Blast, or even or even on Shrek, if you want to go back to that, he has not been banned out, and the edicts can chew away at towers. And if the anti-mage doesn't have any space to farm safely until he gets that Battle Fury Vlad's Manta, where he's really super combat effective, then you have a chance to just choke him out and end the game before he can really get to the point where he's really unkillable, for one, because he's tanky enough to always be able to blink out, and also very dangerous in terms of damage potential. So if you want to go for that kind of strat, though, you have to be really, really sure about this, because if you go too all in that kind of an early push, you might end up not having any sort of later game counters up against the AM. Something like Winter Wyvern would come to mind. Strong
Right.
lockdown, anything along
Well,
those lines.
that's exactly the downfall of picking these early push lineups. That yeah, you lose out the sort of late game. And even though they drafted up some pretty decent late game in the last round, I mean, it just seemed like they weren't quite able to make as big of an impact with that late game as Kaipi was. So Monkey Business, if they want to go for this early push, they have to go all in. They can't really pick up. I mean, the Spectre was great, but it didn't seem like they were able to do as much with it in the early game as they could have. So they really just gotta, either go all in for this early if they want to go for the aggressive build, or pick a different style.
Yeah, and they're gonna go with the Earthshaker and Escalating counter the Spirit Breaker, who is going to look to open up the map for anti-mage and bring the fight to Monkey Business to some degree. Really, really nice space to have the Space Cow for that. And yeah, looking
Picking
to
up
pick
the
up some
Space
more.
Cow. I mean, this offers so much. I mean, Spirit Breaker, for one, is a hero that you can pick up that can pretty much force the enemy to say, okay, well, there's now a pool of heroes that we can't pick up. Any Invis hero, like a Bounty Hunter or a Broodmother, especially if you get the charge off when they are slightly visible, then they're most likely dead. Even if they are Invis after that, because, of course, Spirit Breaker usually carries dust, and then things get very bad. Now there's a Zeus in the field. So Kaipi, they've got a really long initiation range and a really global sort of fight style where Anti-Mage can be very mobile, can be anywhere around the map. Zeus can help anywhere around the map. Spirit Breaker can charge anywhere around the map. Only one not really mobile on Kaipi is Dazzle, but then again, it's a Dazzle. He'll just TP in and boom, things are happening. So Monkey Business, they grab themselves a Shadow Fiend. He fights a lot earlier and can do very well when he doesn't have to buy the mech. So looking at where this is going, at least for the early game, Monkey Business do have a really good set of heroes, but unfortunately for Shadow Fiend, if Spirit Breaker is able to get a couple of really decent ganks off, they do not have the Dazzle. So it's not really going to help. Earthshaker and Jakiro are pretty decent at babysitting, but of course you really would like to have the Shallow Grave.
Yeah, but at the same time, it feels like Monkey Business. The game plan is going to be to just weather the storm of the Spirit Breaker and the early potential that Kaipi have, and might still be able to pick up with their last hero, and just make sure that the Shadow Fiend is getting off to a good start, keep stacking up, and then take team fights off the back of that. Now you have actually two mechanism carriers as well, so either one of those can go for something different, maybe Sanjin Yasha for the Shadow Fiend or something along those lines. So
yeah,
there was a way for Monkey Business to not just go all out and push, but instead just try to hit a very narrow timing, right? That's the problem with that. You have a very narrow timing where the Shadow Fiend is very strong, but the Anti-Mage, especially if you can put some pressure onto the AM, then we can extend the timing window. But at some point that Anti-Mage will get his farm, and the Shadow Fiend will have to worry about that.
Right. And Shadow Fiend, if Anti-Mage gets a Basher out, Shadow Fiend just does nothing in that fight. I mean, before that, maybe Shadow Fiend can, maneuver around with, a BKB, have a Scotty around, deal some pretty decent damage. He can really hurt Anti-Mage with all the minus armor, as well as a just raw amount of right-click. But once the Basher comes out, AM just blinks on him, bursts him down in no time flat, and then Shadow Fiend, he's pretty much useless in the fight. So what ultimately happens here is that Monkey Business, they've got a pretty decent amount to deal with the AM early on, but as you said, once he starts becoming tankier, once he starts getting either BKBs or Bashers or Hearts or whatever defensive item / I guess Basher's not really defensive, so I shouldn't lump it into that, but whatever he decides to itemize as, it's more or less, if you let him get the items out and this game goes a little bit too late, yeah, you're in a whole host of trouble. Kaipi will finish this one out with Alina as well, so that Laguna Blade definitely hurting Shadow Fiend, putting a damper on his mojo here, and maybe it's I really like Kaipi's lineup for this reason. They've got a lot of burst to deal with the Shadow Fiend. They've got a lot of sustain in the fight to deal with the Darkseer, Jakiro, or Shaker initiation. And really, I mean, they've got a pretty decent all-around lineup whatsoever. And Monkey Business, I'm wondering what their last pick is going to be. But with that Slardar banned out, maybe they go for the Spectre again. I don't know. I wouldn't like it, to be honest, for this lineup. But there are not many really great options for them.
It's okay. It's going to
Juggernaut.
be Juggernaut. Okay, that's one of these carries that I want to say can go toe to toe with Anti-Mage, but it's even in a later game. But then it comes down to who gets the jump and who gets the Abyssal Blade first, and these kind of things. It's not something that you necessarily want to do if you can help it, if you're the Juggernaut. But it's a hero that can fight. It has some semblance of defensive potential here, especially up against the magic damage, so negating some of that potential from Kaipi early on with the spin, if you can time it right? It's also, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because if you mistime the spin, if you are out of position too far, that Kaipi can just wait it out, then you're still in trouble. But overall, very stable last picks for both teams, I want to say. And it's definitely going to be an interesting match, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen so far this match has been really, really fun to watch. A lot of action and a lot of just straight up, really great play from both teams. Fortunately for us, it's a 1-1 series, so we got to go to a game 3. Not many are as privileged as us for this, so apparently these being the slow one here, but right now, I mean, I'm super excited for the matchup. We're about to jump on into the game, so, game number 3. You guys hyped?
Well, I know that I am, and if you're just joining us, where have you been hiding? Probably watching ESL 1 or something like that, but it's probably not... Yeah. It's probably not...
I actually mean that.
Still, it's probably not as exciting as these past 2 games. You should definitely catch up on the VODs once they go online, but... Yeah, my name is DragonJump. I'm joined by Ted, and... This is Game 3 between Monkey Business and Kaipi Dota in the Dota 2 Champions League. So let's introduce our team before the action starts, starting with Moon Meander. A little bit of a Chinese name, drawing strength from these characters maybe, I don't know. He's playing the Darkseer once again. Miracle, playing that Shadow Friend. Fly on the Earthshake and Crit on the support Jakiro. And that leaves the safe lane for Big Daddy No Tail, playing the Juggernaut.
Yeah, meanwhile, on the other side of the river, though not actually on the other side of the river, it's going to be Kaipi's Bone 7 on the Lina with Come With Me on the Spirit Breaker. Cancel, we'll be playing the Zeus this time around with Buffney again on that Dazzle, and Bisa playing the carry, Anti-Mage.
Yeah, Kaipi, overall, more of an unknown quantity than Monkey Business is, just because they haven't really played too many officials under that name. Monkey Business, even more so. They've been actually quite active in the tournament scene this season. But Kaipi, once again, they're showing us what they can do. Yeah, in this very series, and they're starting to make a name for themselves on the back of that. Yeah, on the back of course, of the names that are in there already with Bone 7, Come With Me in. Not least Bisa here. What kind of a pop star in the UK scene, and yeah.
Yep, both teams trying to make a name for themselves. Actually, both relatively young. Their inception happening after around after the new year, though. So I mean, we're looking at some. Or, sorry, after the TI. It's a little bit of a ways away from the new year.
It's a new Dota year, right?
New Dota year, yeah, exactly. That's how I think. It's kind of sad, isn't it? But I mean, we've got pub stars, we've got pros, we've got everything from well, anything. Right now is in this game. Bisa, of course, going to be up against the Darkseer. This is one of those matchups that we take a look to say that Anti-Mage, it's a characteristic matchup, in fact, Anti-Mage beating out the Darkseer most times. But looking towards the mid, a little bit more of an odd matchup here. It's going to be Zeus against Shadow Fiend, and you can already see Zeus doing a pretty decent sum of damage. Miracle not really able to stand up to it.
With all these mini heroes, I'm really scared of missing First Blood because on the minimap they're all so close to each other, and don't really know who's going to end up getting the upper hand first, because this bottom lane with a couple of 17%ers and both 70 actually hanging around too, so it's a little bit of a dual lane here that can actually turn into a kill onto maybe crit. Same time with Fly joining in, if he gets like a fissure block that can go the other way around. Same, pretty much similar at top. Moonwiana taking quite a bit of damage, but of course they don't really have any lockdown to go with that. So
Come with me. He's going to charge the bottom lane, though. He goes out onto Fly, looking for the 17%, but he's not going to find it off. And in the meantime, everyone else just kind of backing away. But Moonmander's still being aggressive up top, even though his mana pool is starting to drain by the moment. So he's got to be very careful. If a couple more hits from Beats, and he won't be able to surge away.
Same time, though, he's getting a lot out of this lane with the way he's been playing. He's spamming out the Iron Shells. Will pretty damn close to the Soul Ring as well in terms of gold. Still has to have the recipe flown out. But he's level 4 already. Right. Oh god.
Miracle. They're gonna find him. Can he get the bash? He just needs one more hit. They get it out with the lightning bolt, but still come with me. He can't seem to find it. One more hit, he gets it! He gets it, but cancel. He gets the chain lightning off as well. And the what? Oh wait, no, wrong courier. Wait.
What? Did the courier just follow cancel there? Oh.
Yeah, it followed cancel underneath the tower. Unfortunately, it didn't, or fortunately, didn't have a bottle on it. So he only loses the magic stick as well as a circlet. But still, that is the magic wand, so maybe a little bit of a victory there for Monkey Business. But losing Miracle like that, of course, the bash was bound to come out. Still kind of sucks. Meanwhile, Moon Meander at the top. He's out of mana, but forces Bisa to blink back as they cannot continue chasing.
And he's getting a Soul Ring recipe now, so he'll have some mana to play with, and then he can keep spamming out the Iron Shells from a safe distance even, and still get his last hits. He doesn't really need to commit too hard now, just because of the levels, because he's already almost level 5. That's pretty damn strong, all things considered. It's Bone 7.
Yep.
Yeah, left down here in the bottom lane with rotation out from the Spirit Breaker. He's not doing too badly, of course, with this dual lane coming out.
Yeah, and things are moving out pretty decently. I mean, fairly slow in the early game. No, in game 1 at this point, we had, what, 6 or 7 kills? 7 in game 2, though. We had just about this much action, so the next 2 games have been fairly slow as far as the early game aggression has gone, but looks like maybe that changes. Bone 7 is going to have a haste rune. They find crit, and they do have another charge on to come with me when they're ready, and he's going to go in for it, but will they be able to get the bash off? They get it on a Big Daddy because of the charge through. Looking for the one hit to get a kill here. They will go with the Light Strike Array, but the bash comes through. Come with me will find the kill.
That was a mix of Come With Me 17% and Bone 7. He had 2 Light Strike Arrays without any sort of setup. That is some great play there. Making the most out of that haste rune, grabbing another kill down in his bottom lane, and putting on the pressure onto the Juggernaut. He's sitting at 20 last hits.
Yeah, Bone 7 also got the kill there, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, Big Daddy doing really well in the CS here. I mean, he's, okay, maybe that's an overstatement. He's doing well in the CS. Not really the best. Bisa is still taking a close to the top spot, but Miracle is at the top.
Middle lane, there's a fissure block, so he can't actually walk out, but the teleport reaction comes in. It's going to be Bone 7 looking for Fly, but without a charge coming in. Gee, there it is.
Yeah.
Did have the charge, I believe.
So
I'm not sure what happened,
there,
but yeah.
helping him out, but looks like they still might be able to get the kill. Come with me, all he needs is vision. They turn for crit, though. They could get both of them here. Come with me,
both, or maybe none of them.
Yeah.
They're kind of a little bit unsure about who to go for, a little bit of a miscommunication, but they end up getting that. Getting crit Bone 7 with one last right click, I believe.
Yeah, can I just say what an awkward engagement that was? Oh man, maybe we see something a little more concrete. Come with me, goes in mid, but Miracle, he brings down Cancel. Come with me, he's looking for the bash, but he's got to turn around. Miracle not able to get the dual raises off, so won't get a return.
Monkey Business finally stopping the bleeding here, getting themselves onto the board, especially on Miracle, getting that pretty much solo kill with a little bit of help from the Earthshaker, just doing Earthshaker things. It's definitely going to be very, very useful. He's almost up to max souls as a result of that. 1929 plus an Invis rune in the bottle, so might actually try and make something out of that, or just probably just use it to heal up instead. Okay. Not a whole lot that you can do as a Shadow Phoenix, you don't really have too much control.
Right. I mean, are they stacking up? It looks like they're doing a pretty decent job at these camp stacks. Well, actually, a really decent job. That's what, 4 camps in the bottom hard camp stack, only about
Yeah.
2 in the top medium. So, I mean, come with me, scouts it out. But they have no real game plan to steal it. Miracle, all he's got to do, once he's got the level 4 raise, so he can just go back and take it. And Kaipi can't really stop this from happening.
Yeah, they don't have anything to clear through these camps themselves until they have a couple more levels onto Lena or something like that. And maybe they're
Actually,
looking
can
to
you get
get that
another
cancel and build
stack?
7. Yeah, he
5
can.
camps.
Wow. Hello.
That is
That's not
incredible.
good. He's sitting at 300 gold right now. We'll see what he has after this.
Oh, wait, they're going to try to stop it.
Oh, Miracle gets charged down, flies here, throws out the fissure, but now Miracle's isolated here. The Zeus ultimate will block him down, taking all the damage from the creeps, and now there's Omni Slash coming in, finishing off the Zeus after the fact, and come with me as well. Being caught with the spin, so Kaipi, they paying a lot to make this happen. Bone 7 not caught with the Ice Path and a couple of extra right clicks, plus the double Iron Shell burning away at him, so they pay actually quite a lot to stop this Shadow Fiend from taking the camps. He still got strats out of that.
rotated in for that one too. So he's now 2-0-1 right now, becoming part of that kill. They lost their stack, or at least they still got most of it, I think. But the big thing was there that Kaipi got a little bit too happy to go for that stack, and they lost quite a bit. Though Miracle does die, Big Daddy No Tail is still farming.
Yep. At the same time, so is Bisa, so I can say hashtag space created.
I don't know. Bisa's net worth is actually 4th highest underneath all 3 cores of Monkey Business.
Yeah, that is actually the effect of Miracle, as well as Juggernaut being part of these kills. And
yes.
if you're not careful, that can actually throw you back quite heavily, even if you have some really good CS. And Bisa sitting at 51 last hits, which is not really bad.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but as you said, not bad at all.
Charge
Maybe
coming
he's
in
able
on the
to find a
fly.
kill though.
Yeah. The blink in from Bisa does have the Mana Void here, will deny some of that, and will actually cancel the animation for the Enchant Totem, it looks like, so don't even have to deal with that. So yeah, he recognizes that, wants to get a kill of his own, and does exactly that.
Yeah, that's really good for him. That puts him up a little bit higher on the net worth, though still hasn't surpassed the Darkseer. He's doing alright. The thing is, where actually is Darkseer? Moonmander's farming the jungle. Very low, but this is a good amount of experience that he's getting from this gold as well. He's going to have that mechanism up pretty soon. In fact, that's it, isn't it? Yeah,
Yep.
9 minutes, mechanism completed. Very, very nice timing for Moonmander to hit. And this is when Monkey Business can maybe start to just say, okay, let's brawl.
Yeah. They can brawl, they can also slow siege here with the liquid fire onto the towers. Crit is doing exactly that, has 3 points up into it, so it's on a really low cooldown. Yeah, they're past the points. Oh, maybe I spoke
made
to
miracle.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That was just really good position enough and come with me wrapping around. And the Miracle just a little bit too far out into the river, so it's a little bit of back and forth here. Both teams get kills on the board, and it's really hard to figure out who's actually ahead.
Well, I mean, we could take a look, try to consult the graphs for that one. Personal feelings, I think Monkey Business are doing a fantastic job at staying ahead a little bit, but they're not actually the ones ahead in the game. Mostly because Kaipi is still farming. He's doing a fantastic job at it, and once he gets that Battle Fury out, which he'll have it out, estimated time about 4 minutes from now, 3 or 4 minutes from now, that will mean that that's the beginning of the end for Monkey Business, unless they're really able to start really fighting, putting pressure around the map, which I don't think they've done quite yet. Maybe they start with Fly, though, in the mid.
He found himself an Invis rune and looking for cancel, but he feels like he knows something's up. That Observer, does it not actually scout? Ah, that's the Rain Observer, so I'm stupid. But yeah, cancel will not get caught out anyway, so it doesn't really matter at all. But yeah, the problem is, if you have a Shadow Fiend on your team, you need him to have momentum. Right? That's all what we usually see with Shadow Fiends. They farm a couple of stacks and all of a sudden, like 2,000-3,000 gold ahead of everyone else. Yep. And that's where they really shine. That's what they need to be to have a really good impact in the game. And so far, we're not there yet. Sure, he's up there on top of the net worth chart, right alongside the 2 carries. But
Big Daddy No Tail, they've got everything. They throw everything in the kitchen sink at him.
oh wow.
That does a good chunk of damage. They bring him down in no time at all.
Yeah, so one of the carries is all of a sudden not quite that high net worth anymore. But yeah, my point is Shadowfiend needs to have more than that. So
Yes.
even with using 3 heroes ganking up Miracle when you try to take the stack, I also want to say that's worth it just to stifle his momentum, just to not let him build up too much.
Yep, come with me. He's going to charge his target, the top lane crit.
Yeah, he should fall here. Bisa comes in, there's teleport reaction coming out, and actually not a lot of mana being drained, so Bisa's mana bar doesn't do too much. Now the turnaround comes in, no tail, teleports in for this one, and does a lot of damage over time just with the spin from Come With Me, but it does get the charge off. And vacuum though!
Oh!
Drive by.
That's the Blink Dagger for Miracle. There's some momentum
Well,
for
yeah.
you, but that was a really weird mana void. It almost seemed like last second he figured, okay, you're not getting the kill, you might as well try. But he had full mana. Jakiro had very close to full mana there. I'm not quite sure what his plan ultimately was. Maybe the mini stun to look for some other follow-up? I don't know.
I think it's just the effect of anti-mage. Just playing very differently the more farm you have, right? I mean, if you have max mana burn there, a little bit more attack speed, you just hit him a couple of times and then use the mana void, and it's gonna do much more damage than that, because of course it's also gonna be a high level mana void. But of course it's not really the case at this point in the game anymore, but sometimes you can forget that if you're an anti-mage player, and especially if you haven't really had any pressure on top of you so far. Speaking of
Another
pressure,
charge,
bottom,
actually.
yeah, there's another charge onto Miracle. He has double damage on it, it will just fade now. Cancel not quite in range though to go for any sort of follow-up, so Come With Me will think twice of it. Same time, Bone 7 and Bufni trying to work away at this tower, not the best pushers in the world. Trying to do what they can. At the same time, Bisa looks like Monkey Business might want to wrap around on him. Oh, he has to be very careful now. Oh, I know, he actually blinks in, and now there's 3 heroes. That's a fissure here to keep him in place. Couple of razors here on top of the ice path, and that's him going down. He made a huge mistake, and Kaipi, they have to abandon ship right now. Bufni, he's being chased down by Noltail, though he does have the Omni Slash if he wants to. There's a Shuttle Grave forced down, and as well as the Weave, uses the Omni Slash, but it's on creeps. Cancel, teleport into his own base, being run down by this Juggernaut and can't get away. He will die as the Yules. It's just a second too late for Bone 7. He even misses the stun. Yeah, the Magnus will keep him up and running. 3 heroes down, and Come With Me. What is he doing? He's still charging in. He will fall. What? This. What? I mean, what?
So that all started with Bisa taking the bait and getting wrecked because of it. But then after that point, so many mistakes. First of all, Big Daddy going in and getting the kill onto Zeus. They tried to use him up to stop it, but they ended up going for the use a little bit too late. And then Bone 7 misses the Light Strike Array. Times it a little bit too early. And from that point, he just, Big Daddy No Tail, he just walks away.
Yeah.
So a lot of mistakes being made by Kaipi in the end. And Monkey Business, they get away with quite a few kills and lose pretty much nothing.
Kaipi can count the blessings that it's only 50 minutes into the game and the death time is really, really low. That's like 10-15 minutes later, they lose a Rax on top of that. So these kind of mistakes, they can't afford to make any more of them. I mean, Bisa going down, unfortunate, right? But the 3 deaths after that, absolutely unnecessary.
Yeah, exactly. So it actually looks like they might get more top.
Again.
The charge came bottom, so they can afford to do this. Cancel. He gets demolished here, though. They're like, Shallow Grave will keep him alive.
Nicely done here, keeping Zeus alive. Bufni will die to the razors. Yeah. That's alright if you can keep your Zeus alive at the very least.
Yep. Force a TP. No Tail in his own jungle.
Oh wow, he's being Bisa and Come With Me walking away at him. The Wolf will be able to finish him off. No Omni Slash, of course, and there's only so much that the spin can do for you. Nice little pick off, so that gets some momentum back in their favor. And Bisa, yeah, starting to need that. He doesn't have his battlefield completed just actually. Isn't flying out right now, so I'll eat my words. That's where it needs to be. He will have to finish up the Vlads and then the Meta Style, and that's where it becomes really scary. So the time bomb is starting right now. The timer's ticking, so to speak.
Yeah, but he's actually got to do something with this Battle Fury now. I mean, we've seen the last couple of fights, they haven't really been going in his advantage. Of course, taking the bait in that last one. The Battle Fury itself isn't enough. He's got to pretty much either fall off the face of the map to find his next couple of items, or they've got to take really, really solid fights where he's in the back, you know, fighting after supports, doing all sorts up.
He blinks across on the other side of Cancel, who's actually taking a lot of harassment here just from the right clicks. The Shell Grave will have to come out to keep him safe, but there's a charge still coming out onto this Shadow Fiend, who's all alone, doesn't have a TP scroll, only has the blink, but now there's some reinforcements coming in the form of No Tail. Kaipi, they don't want to risk it here. Oh, Bufni scouting out.
Looks like Miracle, he's not afraid to risk it though. He's walking right back in to the show here. And it looks like he may find Bufni, but has got no way to cancel that TP. They come in with a fissure, but it's just a second too late. So, and Bisa, he has been doing anti-mage things, continues to farm up, and he'll have that Vladimir's offering very soon. Yep.
That's just the charge not
just a
even
casual
needed.
kill.
Yep. Bone 7, standard duels into Light Strike Array into his entire combo with a little bit of help from Zeus across the map. That's only Jakiro here, the rest of the Monkey Business still working away here in the middle lane. Chipping away at this tower, and Cancel has to be very careful. He can be bursted down relatively easily if that blink gets put on cooldown. Can't make these kind of plays.
Just gonna muscle this down too. It's not really looking great for Kaipi, his chances of defending this tier 2.
Can't really fight through the whole castle. Get some blink out in time, but yeah, they have to get have to let this tier 2 go. Which is really annoying, as we mentioned in the draft. Anti-Mage needs some space, and right now he's finding it down here in the bottom lane in the Raiden side jungle, but there's only so much that there's only so long that you can do that before Monkey Business says, alright, enough is enough. This is our jungle, get the hell out of here. They've also warded up the Dire side jungle with 2 wards, one here, one up a little bit further. Not the most common ward spots, they'll just make it harder to harder to de-ward. And opens up the potential for Anti-Mage to just get picked off a couple of times if he's starting to farm his own jungle.
Yeah, he was in Monkey Business jungle, as you said, for a while. Backed himself off to go farm the Ancients. Gotta be careful if he goes right back in, but actually, inside of Kaipi's jungle,
it was
raises are a good amount of damage there. I mean, that was crazy how they just blew him up. It was really just Miracle. The Fissure came in, was just an extra stun. That was all it was. Support.
No, Bisa has to be actually very, very careful. Fly, he's under the cover of smoke. He'll only now wear off, but Bisa has no clue whatsoever. They will find him here, actually vacuum on top, and he will be able to blink out because of that. A little bit of misplay. Fly is still here, but the teleports will come out. Now the turnaround potential, maybe. A little bit of damage coming out from Cancel. Bufni throws out the weave to scout them out.
Not sure where that vacuum went.
Right up there. You vacuumed them.
Well, I know, but it seemed like it was supposed to go on top of Shadow Fiend.
Yeah.
Anyway, charge comes through on the fly.
Oh, I'm not quite sure that's the best idea. The Omni Slash comes out, come with me to tank it, but Shellgrave comes out in time. Nice little ice power as well as a Fissure though to kind of stop the rest from Kaipi to continue to engage, so it was almost a very good initiation if it weren't for this crowd control. Now the tier 1 will go down as a result of that. Kaipi, they're starting to lose map control. Bisa trying to get space here. He's taking a tier 1 tower in mid, trying to force a reaction here, and that's a teleport coming out from a Fly.
Right, Bisa will be split pushing out the mid tier 1. He won't actually get it, as a tier 2 also will not fall in the bottom lane. It didn't look like Monkey Business wanted to push too much further, but the map control is going slightly in favor of Monkey Business after a little bit of time, but Bisa, we mentioned once he got that Battle Fury, fall off the face of the map and get those next items up, he's been doing a pretty decent job at it, avoiding fights, taking only when he can. I think the escape he had in his own Ancients was kind of interesting because that vacuum did not end up where I think it would end up. If I had gone right on top of Shadow Fiend, he'd be dead. But in the end, I mean, he's doing a pretty decent job aside from that, getting around the map, getting his farm up, and with that Vlad, there's really nothing that he has to worry about. Just, regen from the creeps alone, not really having to go back to base, do any sort of waiting, watching, just farm, farm, farm.
Oh, Knives caught out though with the Yules, follow up though with the Ice Blast, and do they have enough? Yeah, they have plenty of chain stun, even with the Aqua Slam committed. And they can't afford these kind of things. Come With Me comes in, Soul's cancel though. They do get a little bit of lockdown onto Tail, but he still gets the spin off. So it doesn't take too much damage just yet. Duel Scepter up into the air now. And followed up with the Light Striker Rake. And they actually bring down Vacuum Wall here onto 2 heroes. And that'll spell doom for Come With Me, as well as the Dazzle. So they don't actually get anything off of this fight, even though it was pretty damn close this time around. But close is not enough in Dota.
Same thing with the pick off on Bisa over in the top lane. Bisa goes down, right? But then after that, there's a chance for Kaipi not to, you know, feed a couple of extra kills, but they go in. And every single time they do that, it seems like Monkey Business, they don't just get the kill on Bisa, which is huge enough as it is. They get a couple extra kills, which is really, really bad for Kaipi at this standing. They only, if best case scenario, they only lose Bisa. Of course, best is they don't lose Bisa, but I don't think they had a real choice in that one. They did not have to give up the kills after that.
Yeah. And now, it's not just the kills, it's also the Aegis now in the hands of the Shadow Fiend, and we're still at a timing where Beast is not ready to fight yet.
Yep. Vacuum Wall's not available, but Vacuum Requiem is. So Kaipi have to be incredibly careful moving on to these next couple of minutes. There's still an Aegis on Miracle, so bringing him down is not going to be all that easy. In fact, it could end up working in the opposite direction if you're not careful. Miracle getting closer to the BKB, but is not going to have it yet. He's only about 750 gold away from it. So it's going to be a little bit of time before that flies, but they can still just slow siege this one out. See, bursting the creep wave down and hitting the tower, getting some chip damage, maybe even be able to bring it down.
Chip damage is the name of the game here for sure. Even using the spin to on No-Tail just to ensure that. But the glyph is forced out now.
Looks like Bisa tried to split push the mid lane, but he mistimes it. A very interesting little mistake, as he's not going to be able to stop this backdoor protection or this slow siege from going down. And although he could try to go after this tier 1, now I think he'll get the creep cut. No, he goes after the tier 1 first.
Yeah, but
and
it's going to be enough. I mean, this creep, if it doesn't have a catapult with it, so it'll die pretty damn quickly, but the backdoor region's not coming back immediately, so the tier 3 will still fall.
And there's a creep cutting from Bisa, so now they do not have another wave to push in. Meaning that once the backdoor protection comes up, it stays up for a bit. And there it goes. It's back up. Now they got to back out and stop this push for now. But this is pretty decent play from Bisa now, as this is really making it so they cannot continue this slow siege.
Yeah. That's kind of the way that you have to play an anti-mage in this kind of position. I mean, it's not the where you want to be. Ideally, you want to have like at least some more 2v2s up and running, your own jungle to farm up. But he's making the best of the situation right now, which is just being where Monkey Business isn't. Right. That's kind of the name of the game right now.
Yeah, and he's gonna have a Yash out very soon, which means the Manta style will not be that long to follow. But Monkey Business, they're not quite giving up their hold on this mid lane. They're okay to let Bisa push, it seems, and they just want to go after other types of towers. It looks like, though, Jakiro Crit will make his way to the bottom. Maybe they want to bring down Bisa. They've got a Yule Scepter. They'll initiate off with them. Can they chain up? They get the Ice Path, but they do not have any follow-up stuns. They might just be able to blink out. No, they do! With the Echo Slam, they'll bring them down. Even the Omni Slash runs through and come with me. Well, Big Daddy No-Tail obliges and brings him down by the blade of his sword.
Just so easy if you have all this lockdown available to you, and Fly is doing a really good job just using his stuff at the right time, just to ensure these kind of kills, even with the charge coming in from the Spirit Breaker. And that's another pick off that is almost breaking the back of Kaipi here.
Right, interesting block coming out from Fly as he blocks the creeps. Maybe he's trying to get a double wave coming in, but it's not going to be that long of a block. They'll go in, though. They want to try to force the buyback of Bisa. That would be a very excellent thing for them to have. There is no glyph available. The Aegis is still alive, although probably not for very much longer. And they should be able to grab this.
Yep. They have the healing ward still healing him up at the same time from the back, and Kaipi just going to let this go. They don't want to spend the buyback. They can't really afford that on the anti-mage, so they'll have to bite the bullets. I mean, you can deal with one lane Rax being down. When hits two, and it just gets much harder, and not just because they're constantly pushing in, but also there's less farm to go around for the anti-mage. Just lift up out of the charge onto Come With Me. The Fissure will actually keep Monkey Business from committing, but all they really want is the racks, and that's what they're gonna get.
Yep.
And now back out, wait for the next Roshan, or maybe get Bisa, who's... Look, almost got the courier there.
They scout him with the courier. That's the important part. Fly also has got his Blink Dagger at the ready. And Bisa, he's TPing back to base, which means this opens up a little bit more opportunity for Monkey Business to just push without the fear of the split push. And if Bisa makes his way away, that means he doesn't have his TP scroll at the ready. So they've got 55 seconds of just an incapacitated split push from Bisa, and it looks like they will go ahead and put some pressure on the bottom lane.
Also just got a tweet from Genereva, and apparently, it might have been vacuumed up onto the fissure and then displaced up on the cliff in that pickup earlier, but yeah, later on that, there's actually the Omni Slash doing so much work, the vacuum into the wall, and the Shallow Grave can do so much. Buffy will fall as well, and the teleport will be cancelled, fittingly enough. 3 heroes down just like that. Buybacks have to come out, not just from Lina, but also from Zeus here, if they want to hold on to this Rax. And Spirit Breaker cancelling the charge. Bone 7 is back in the backlines here, trying to mop up the creep base, but his tier 3 is already down, thanks to all the right clicks and the liquid fire.
Bisa still does not have the TP. 5 seconds. They might just lose Rax before he's even able to come back into the fight. It looks like, I don't know, it's kind of a weird push right now for Monkey Business. Bisa will now return. No Tail's got to be careful. Bisa's waiting in the wings. He now comes back onto the Mana Void, but it's not going to do a lot of damage.
At the very least, it gets Monkey Business a little bit away. Fly caught with the Yule Scepter will be the spoils of war. Or will he? Yes, he will. And same for Crit, trying to help out a little bit. So it's actually Shadow Fiend died to all of that as well without the Aegis. Did not even notice that. No idea how that actually happened, but actually hold on to the Rax, get a couple of very important kills, and they only end up using the buyback on Lina.
Right. This is looking really interesting of a game. I mean, we're in game number 3. Monkey Business, for like the first time in all 3 games at this point in the game, have a kill advantage. I don't think they ever got one in the first game, and nor in the second game. So it's pretty funny that they finally have it. And they're also doing a really good job as far as Golden XP goes. I mean, net worth, 12,000 plus advantage, experience, 7,500. And all their cores are looking pretty decently farmed. I mean, Beast is still close to the top of the net worth, but we expect that from an anti-mage. The big thing is he's not at the top of the net worth. So there is a quite low amount of farm. I mean, I know the mem is 1,000 GPM, and he's obviously not got that. He's got only about a half of that. But it's feeling like he's not quite able to make the very same impact that they need him to make in this game. And that Manta style will be coming out. It's on the courier now. That might open up a brand new a world of hurt for a Monkey Business. But again, it will all come down to the team fight executions. And I'm not quite sure Kaipi have been on top of that as of yet in the game.
Yeah, the problem for Kaipi is that they have a lot of team fight control and damage to deal with, just because of the Earthshaker, Jakiro, and also Moonmi and his Darkseer. He's been hitting these vacuum walls quite religiously here in this game so far, and there's just so much control and so much damage coming out that you can't really deal with it, because someone's going to die. All you really have is a Dazzle with a Shallow Grave, and that's only enough for one hero to survive some of that onslaught. Come With Me isn't all that tanky now at this point of the game, even with the Glimmer Cape, and that's what it comes down to. Anti-Mage needs some space in fights as well, so if he just jumps in too early and gets hit with that barrage, then whatever items he has right now, he's not going to be able to survive this. So they need to find a really good team fight, ideally a couple of pickoffs beforehand, and then...
It's kind of
Oh god. Bone 7, they're gonna use the Echo Slam on top of them, and there's the Glimmer Cape keeping him alive. Now the turnaround flies, gets deleted with that Agnum Scepter Laguna Blade. And Crit looking for something else in return here. There's someone coming in that's going to be No Tail, and Come With Me. They've actually, they have another Ice Puff, so he will be living actually, thanks to the Shallow Grave as well as the charge out. He gets that off, and Dazzle teleporting back, so this is actually a really good escape for Kaipi. On a nice edge for sure, but they make it work.
And meanwhile, Bisa is split pushing out. The Manta style completed. He's not as afraid as he has been in the past, although he hasn't really been afraid at all, as evidenced by some of the Blinken initiations that he's had in the past. But he's got a lot more muscle to back his playstyle here, and It looks like he should just be able to split push up the top tier 2 tower. Monkey Business, meanwhile, haven't been making that many aggressive plays, but now they're going to go in for the Roshan. The Aegis Immortality obviously unlocking some more potential from this lineup. So maybe once they get this Aegis, they can go after the bottom lane and finally finish what they started. But they've got to be always careful of Bisa here in the top. This could be the lane he's focusing. Although there's still tier 2s left standing, he can't get that aggressive. He still can bring down those tier 2s in a decent amount of time. And it looks like they're going forward onto Bisa. They will get the Yule Scepter off. They've got a big amount of chain stun, but they can't quite keep him in place for long enough. Can they? No Tail comes in, but he's got the Manta style. He cannot quite pop his Omni Slash. He's bouncing between the AM. So looks like they will get away. Meanwhile, Courier not getting canceled out by Come With Me. So the Scotty will be completed by No Tail.
Now the middle lane actually pushing out so far is beneficial to Come With Me, just being able to charge straight back into the base across everyone else. But yeah, it's again a nice little escape. Not the cleanest execution from Monkey Business this time around. Fly actually missing the Fisher beforehand, but yeah, also really good decision for Kaipi not to desperately try and go in with the Spirit Bracket there and try to bail out Bisa. Just trusting in him to get out, or just even if he doesn't get out, just having the rest of the heroes in the base defending is going to be vital in preventing him having to buy back. Right.
It's like Monkey Business. Now remember, they did get the Roshan. They've got that Aegis. They just kind of walk at the racks, and they're dead. The melee rack's still standing, but the TP was canceled, actually, and Come With Me. Oh man, he pops in the Glimmer Cape. They can't finish him off. They'll still go after these racks. Now with another strike on the No Tail. Looks like he'll be fine for now. No, yes.
He will finally die after the Shadow Grave comes out. Buffney as well. Actually, he's still alive. BKB comes out. Buffney tries to teleport, but a couple of right clicks will secure that kill, and they both have to buy back at the end of it all. Bisa finally rejoining his own base, now ready to fight, and he kind of has to. That melee Rax is down now. And now that's 2 lanes of Rax down for the count.
They're going to try to catch him on the retreat, though.
There it is. The Fissure comes out, though. It's going to make it a little bit harder, as it's actually not quite the perfect block, but a very narrow funnel. And Bisa not comfortable blinking across there. So there's still that Aegis and Shadow Fiend with a Skadi to boot. He's actually very hard to fight up against just by his lonesome.
Yeah, they get 2 racks up now. They only lose their Jakiro. So now they go in. Oh, Buffney. No. Looks like he's dead. There's a really awkward position for Dazzle to be, by the way.
To say the least. Bisa are trying to do his best to keep the creeps away, but there's already creep wave in the middle lane, disabling backdoor region. Come With Me. He's trying to do what he can. Same for Bone 7. They get a lot of damage onto No Tail, who does not have the Aegis, but it's not quite enough to finish him off. And now Miracle, they will blow up Cancel here. Will have to buy back if they want to continue this, and that's exactly what they're going to do. At the same time, Bisa coming in from the back. Axelem committed onto Bone 7, who's lifting up himself up to the air just to try and survive. There's the Aegis going down, and Bisa looking for more here, looking for Fly, will bring him down. Meanwhile, in the back here, Cancel caught in the wall, and No Tail is still alive somehow. Bisa looking for it, but now with his teams going down, he's the sole focus of the rest here, and he's going to have to retreat now, trying to drag them behind themselves, but Monkey Business, they don't really need to fight up against the Anti-Mage. They can just YOLO the tower right now. And that's exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah. I mean, Miracle's up there. Bone 7, he can try to defend, but 2 are dead without buyback. Miracle's after it. They'll get the minus armor onto him. So the Weave going to help bring him down pretty low. They've got the Yule Scepter up, and with the perfect chain, they're not quite able to do enough damage to him just yet.
They have another Laguna Blade, and they're gonna need to use that. Using it on Crit, actually in the back, who's not dying thanks to his own Yule Scepter. And now Bone 7, caught on the back, he does have the Ghost Scepter, but that's only going to delay the inevitable as he's caught out. Has to buy it back, and now Buffney, Shallow Grave, as the Omni Slash bounces to creeps, and now taking some more time off him. There's a charge coming through onto Miracle, but he's so freaking tanky. Bisa tries to decide for on the target here, but No Tail, he doesn't care. He just burns down Bone 7 here. They're lifting himself up to the air for the time being, but Bisa, now he just can't fight all of them. GG. And GG is called. Godlike spree for Moon Meander to finish this game off, and Kaipi looked like they had a pretty solid game plan, but Monkey Business had a better one. They were getting inside their base before Bisa could really come online and carry the game. And And yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I just don't know. That was brilliantly executed from Monkey Business. They just would not die. Kaipi just kept throwing stuff at them, trying so damn hard. I think I saw 2 Laguna Blades over the course of
yeah,
that fight, and they just did not get any kills. The sustain was fantastic. They had the healing ward at one point, healing both No Tail and Miracle up pretty much close to full, and that helped them stay in the fight. Of course, Moonmeander not even dying once over the course of that entire game. That was one hell of a final game 3 to close out the series, and it looks like Monkey Business, well, they're going to take it.
yeah. They're showing us who's bossy in this matchup. Kaipi, they had a really strong performance. I mean, game 1 they did actually very well, all things considered, but Monkey Business just a little bit better. In this game as well, I want to say, not so much though, because they had a couple of really, really weird decisions. Just feeding away a couple of heroes that they didn't really need to, that they couldn't afford to. But overall, solid performance from them. Monkey Business ending up the victors here in this game 3. And yeah, that concludes the broadcast for the night here in the Dota 2 Champions League. Alliance, of course, won a little bit earlier with a 2-0 against the Monkey Freedom Fighters. And man, some great games we saw. Some great games we saw today. I'm definitely happy to have gotten the chance to cast this, and yeah, want to take the opportunity to thank you, Ted, for joining me.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
Yeah. And yeah, of course, at the end of the broadcast, a chance to plug your social media, so go ahead.
All right, well, only real place to find me there is at TedCast, so drop me a line, whatever you want to say. I'll be looking ears wide open for you guys. Thank you so much for joining us this match. It was a blast to cast for you.
Yeah, while you're already at it, you can also follow me at DragonDropDota. And while you're already browsing the web, head on over to joindota.com for all the coverage and information about not only this tournament, but of course everything else. If you're still hungering for more Dota, head on over to twitch.tv ESL_Dota2, where ESL1 should still be happening there. Not quite sure how far they're along, but the finals should be coming up soon, so check that out as well. Yeah, once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.